camera, of course. So give me a minute while I do that. And it is Thursday, September 17. Wow, huh? Okay, so today we are going to have some fun. And it's the last session for our little art journal, the Mixed Media 101, Session 1, classes 1 through, I think this ends up being class 8. So we're, some of the classes, as you already know or maybe don't know, are on YouTube. In fact, all of the sessions, even the ones done here on Twitch, can be found on YouTube now. And then once this is done, it will later today be transferred onto YouTube, and they'll remain there. And my YouTube channel is Visionary Artist Path. Okay, so here are our tools for today. Here's the journal pages that we've compiled: scissors, pencil, ruler, an awl, bookbinding needles, and some waxed hemp thread. And then I brought out some embellishments just in case we want to use them. So that's these little Tim Holtz ideology thought tokens. They're pretty cute. I'll probably use one or two. And then I have some really nice decorative buttons here I might pull on. I'm not sure yet. These are just an aside, so we'll figure it out as we go along. So let's do a review here. Just as a reminder, here's our pages. I had them clipped together, and I have them in two parts, remember? So I have the front pages with a wax paper cover. Yeah. And then I have this middle section that we made last class, right in the middle. And then we have our last portion in the back cover. So this is a little tedious, this part of it, but I actually should have done half of it already, but I didn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off doing it together. And this is just a mat, you know, a grid map to work on so that I can line my ruler up. And if you've never worked with a grid map, they're really wonderful. So you just put your placement down. So I'm going to actually work on this line always. So I'm going to just mark. It doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we do it one at a time, kind of. One page at a time. And what I am going to do here is start off by poking the holes. This I'm not going to worry so much about because it's so loose. But I'm going to come an inch down, and I'm going to come in a quarter of an inch. So a quarter of an inch, and then there. So it's going to be right about there. But I can also take my handy dandy ruler and set it up just like that. See? And then I know that where I want to be is exact and will be exact on all of them. You know, I didn't put any music on today. And I'll tell you why. It is because, unfortunately, I'll go to the 9 here. And I'll go to the 1. Let's give it a middle section. So it's 5. So it's going to be right about 5.5. Right. Let's see. I'm so bad at this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it will be right on the 5. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the owl through this while I have it in place. Here's the reason why I'm not putting music. I'm listening, I usually listen to Spotify, right? I listen to Spotify because I've got playlists done and created, and I choose the playlist that I'm in the mood for, and I play it. And what's been happening is the last two sections I've been being hit with copyright. And so when you have a copyright, of course, it limits the playing of it in certain parts of the world. And that's kind of sad to me. So I decided, and then I have to go in and I have to mute the music, the piece of music that's hitting me with a copyright. And they have every right to do that, of course, because they're artists. They're artists too. And they're being pulled into a YouTube video, even though I'm not making any money off of this YouTube video. They're still being pulled in, right? And so they feel as if they're gonna, as if I'm doing something harmful, because I don't go in and I don't say, oh, this is so-and-so, this song, this song, this song, which is probably to my detriment, but it is what it is. So I don't give them copyright. I don't give them, just gonna set that up right there, the credit they deserve. And so YouTube says, no, 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 you're using copyright material, music, and you're going to be docked for this. And I hate having those copyright things put on my YouTube. So I decided today not to have music playing in the background. So you get to hear me talk instead when I decide to. Otherwise, I will be working predominantly in silence. All right. So we're technically making a homemade journal. Yeah. And we're lining everything up because the holes all have to match up. So I'm going 1, 5, and 9. So there's my first section. Now just to put those all in. So it's the lining up that takes the most time. This paper could easily rip out. I probably should have thought to reinforce it, but okay, I'm not. If it rips out, we'll stick it back in with some washi tape. Okay, so here's our first set. All lined up. So let's see if it's going to work. Let's see how well it's going to work. Then I'll do the second one and we'll put them together. So I'm going to get, this is a bookbinders kit that I got off of Amazon. You can get it in any hobby center. And I want to get a fairly thin one. Maybe I'll use that one right there. The reason why I'm going to work with a thin needle is because I'm working through delicate paper and I don't want to rip. But I want to make sure the eye of the needle, which it is usually in these bookbinding, you can use any needle. But if you're going to use a heavier waxed thread, you need to have thread that's workable through the eye of the needle. And these bookbinding, see how easy that was? These bookbinding needles are designed to take big through. All right, so let's just take off a small section. I don't make my I don't make my journal threads real long. I'd rather do a lot than a little. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start in the middle, and you're going to have to bear with me. So I want the dangle part to be out on the front. And so I'm going to go through the middle section. Gonna find that hole, pull it down. Leave it about like that. And I'm just doing one page at a time. Getting it in place. This wax paper may not have been the best to use for the cover. We'll see. And the thing about this type of journal, it's decorative, right? So it's not like it's going to be worked in. You're not going to be flattening the pages open to do more art inside of it. It's a done deal. And my suggestion will be, if on the pages that you decide to journal on, that you do it on a piece of paper, cut that piece of paper out, and then glue stick it onto the page that you want it to be on. And then we're going through that cover. Okay, there's one set. Now it doesn't matter what end I go to, but I'm just going to come up to the next end and go through. And I do want to pull the string here a little taut, but not completely tight, so that, see, it can open up. It's all right. The pages are going to be a little loose. You want to just relax on that. But keep a consistent pressure going. So see how the middle one is loosening up? Don't forget, it has a dangle of its own, and that's in front. So when we need to tighten it, we'll just pull that. All right. And now for the cover. Now we have to go back through the middle. Let's see if I can get any holes. Oh, I got them all. How lucky is that? I just gently pushed my needle through until I felt it slide into the holes. All right, so that's great. Now we're going to come, see how I'm going to grab that bottom thread? So it sort of anchors it in place. Now we're going to come up here. Don't worry about the looseness of the pages right now on the top. Once we get them all strung up. We'll pull it tighter, I should say. All right. So now let's just take a moment to get everything straight. I'm just going to hook that around that. This is the back side. I'm just pulling it tight. Oops, don't come out. And let's give the top one. Oops, I just hit the camera. Okay. Hi. Hi to Ellie. How are you? It's good to see you. So I'm creating the journal. I'm binding the pages all together. I've just bound the first section together, and now I'm going to do the second session. So I'm going to leave. Oh, good. It's good to see you. How are things in France? You're in France. Jaeli. I always say it, Jael. Jael. It's like I have to say it with a French accent. Jael. Okay, there's the first part bound up. So let's do the second part. Jael. All right, let's get the thread on this. I know my French accent is horrible, huh? I would never work pretending I was a French-speaking person. But I do think French is quite a beautiful language. I think the entire world does. You have a romantic sounding language. All right, so there we've got our second piece of waxed hemp thread on our bookbinding needle. But I'm going to put that off to the side because before we bind, we have to mark. Your French accent is probably better than my English accent. Well, I would like to hear your English accent. Because it would be an English accent. It would be English spoken with a French accent, actually. So that would be a treat. It's the accent. That's right. Is the accent. Oh, s'il vous plaît, the accent. So I'm a glutton for teaching today because I have this Twitch. But Twitch isn't really teaching, it's just I'm working on a project. So y'all get to come along and work with me on it, that's all. But at today, at 12 noon Pacific time, week 1 of my 5-week Fairy Time Cosmic Smash booking class starts. So I will be in Zoom for that, of course, for an hour from 12 to 1 my time. And I'm looking forward to it. So if you want to come, just let me know and I will get you the Zoom information. It's for an hour. Oh, I lost track of where, there it is. I could barely see that. I can't see that. I'm going to have to redo that, but I'll redo it with the all. 1, 5, and 9. It feels like it's higher than the other one. So I was sharing earlier that I'm not playing music today because I've been putting my Twitch recordings on my YouTube channel, and YouTube is dinging me for copyright. So, and then as a copyright issue, then they're not available in some countries. And so I decided today, instead of having a nice music background, you get me. You get to hear me talking instead as I talk about this, I guess. I don't know. Or answer questions. Do I sing? I'll tell you, that's an interesting question because once upon a time in my youth, okay, I played guitar and dulcimer, and I aspired to be the next Joni Mitchell. And so, yes, I did sing. I used to perform. I used to play at weddings and at coffee shops and did all kinds of home recordings. And I have a reel-to-reel. I actually have a reel-to-reel in a box in my garage with all of my youthful recordings. I used to write lyrics, so I wrote my own music, my own songs. Yeah, well, it was one of those things, don't quit your day job. But, I got hired, so I guess I wasn't so bad. But I actually one day just stopped and never went back to another gig. It was the weirdest thing. Why did you stop? Well, that's a loaded question. That's got some history in it. Let me say it this way without going into the full history. My last paid gig was for a wedding reception. And it was an evening reception. And after the reception, I went to the movies with a friend. And I lived in a little city called Belmont Shores at 2nd and Ocean. I lived right across the street from the beach in this really cute little apartment complex. And that night, when I got home, like around 11 p.m., my roommate was at her boyfriend's house, so I had the little apartment all to myself. And I went to sleep, and about a half an hour later, my bedroom door opened. A guy had crawled through my kitchen window, and held a knife and rope to me. So you can imagine the rest. So after that, it just, it stopped. It cold turkey stopped my singing career. So it's kind of a weird way for the, and I wrote about all of this. This has been public since like 1990, 3 or 4 when my Gaia Tradition book came out, because I wrote about it in that. All right, there we have it, you guys. Look it. We've got this. Now I'm ready to put this section together. Get it all lined up. Yeah, it turned me off. Literally turned me off. Death has, trauma and death has a way of doing that to people, because in a way, part of me died that night. But I used to be an avid quilter, right? I used to design. I mean, I was in quilting guilds and had my own quilting guild and taught after-school kids quilting classes and did adult quilting classes and designed. I mean, and I was in shows and contests, and I was really for like 20 years an avid quilter, 25 years. And then my dad died, and I never quilted again. Isn't that weird? So those are, I guess, landmark stages in our life. Okay, so I want to bring your attention to something. This is turning into a morbid conversation. You're getting to know more about me than... okay, here's the front. Here's the front section, right? And the front section, I have the dangles hanging out the front. No, don't be sorry. Life is life, and it's not like, anything that's happened to me has never happened to anybody else. It's happened to a lot of people. Okay, so here we go. Here's the front. And so I have the ties, the dangles coming out in the front, right? This is the back. So, oops, I got it. Yeah, that's the back. This is going to be the back. Let me just make sure I have everything set properly before I stitch it up. So I want the dangles to come out the back. And it's all good. This is the middle flap. So I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to pretend like this is a front so that I stitch it properly. So here's our waxed hemp thread. So we're going to go through the middle like this, just like we did the other one, so that the dangles are out the back in the middle section. Oops, I just really tore that. But let's give it a little more. Let's give it a little more dangle like that. I like to give 5 or 6 inches extra. And then we're going to go through all of the middle ones. Middle. So this, like on this page, if you, and to be gentle with your journal, depending on the type of paper you use, you can always, I have a, something's caught in my throat. You can always write it on another piece of paper, rip it out, and then glue stick it down onto those, what's clearly defined as a journal page. However, something important is that you can add journaling with, I would use like a Sharpie or some type of an indelible ink, waterproof ink, to actually write things right onto your journal pages. I just understood why you make your holes about 1 centimeter from the edge. It's because those are single sheets. Yes, these are single sheets, and we're pulling them together one at a time. And then it's all going to get bound up as one big journal once I've got the 2 sections. Okay. So again, we're in this section. So it doesn't matter whether I go to this section of holes or to this section of holes. So it doesn't matter. You just go to one side. And so I'll just go to this side. And we're gonna bring it through, and just like the other one, I'm gonna have this side lay flat while I do it, just for the ease of opening and moving and getting them all bound up. We tighten everything at the end before we knot it. And this sketch pad paper that I used is really a delicate paper. So, and the wax paper too. So I'm trying to work with a light hand. I'm trying to have a light-handed. Does it open flat at the end? No, it doesn't, and I'll show you how we work with that. We'll actually fold the pages, and I'll show you the technique for doing that. It's pretty simple. All right, so now this side is done. And so just like before, we're going to go through the middle, down through all the pages, and if we're lucky, we'll find the hole for all of them without having to separate. So I just go right on. I have to bring it up. There we go. I found it. You just have to maneuver just a tiny bit to get it in. So we got, this is our back. So now we're at the front. So now we're just going to go over to this side. This side won't lay flat, okay, as we do the holes. So we're going to have a little bit of half flat, half open. Let's see, those two went through pretty easy because for some reason I don't have a... And then this one, and that one, and the back all lined up pretty easy. Okay, good, good, good. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Now all we're going to do is loop it through this side before we tie it, so that it just cinches it. There's our dangle. Before we knot it though, we're going to just check the other side and make sure everything's pulled pretty. See how that one isn't? So that's part of the original dangle. That's part of that side. So let's just get this side a little more tight. Oh, wait, I messed up. Hold on a sec, we'll get there. Okay, that's that side. And this is, see how I have too much here? So you got to figure out which string you have to pull to tighten it. Oh, wow. I'm really messing this side up. Maybe I have to pull it this way. Yes, there we go. So I'm pulling it so it's tight and then getting the excess pulled through the front. So that's nice and tight on that side. Getting this pulled nice and tight through that side. There we go. See, my problem is I went through this. Sorry, you're going to see the top of my head for a sec. Where's my awl? There you are. What happened was I went through my thread, so I have to break a tiny piece right there. So you just separate it from the rest. You probably couldn't see that. Okay. All right, then I'm going to tie this off. And I just make two 2 knots right now because we're doing a section. All right, we're done with this maybe. So there's the back, here's the middle, there's the middle, and there's the back. So now what we have to do is we have to just secure them all together. Let's get another piece of hemp. Normally you'd be doing your entire book at one time, but because I have 2 sections like this, I decided, and because the papers are so delicate, I decided to do them in 2 sections and then bind the 2 sections together, right? Because it just makes it a little easier. I think, for me, it's going to make it a little easier. And this is my front cover, so I want my... There. When you have it all lined up, when you work with a grid, it really does line up. So you saw what I did, right? I'm just going through, I'm making a loop. Oh, my fingers. Don't wanna be kind to me. God, I'm really having a problem with my thread today. There we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna knot that right here. Oh, wait. Then I'll do the bottom. And really, when it comes to binding, there's no right or wrong way. The main thing you just want to keep in mind is that everything is secure. You could braid things, there's all kinds of cool designs you can actually do with these books. I used to do full-on writing journal books. Today I'll grab one at the very end and show you. And we used to make the covers and everything. A friend of mine and I used to do these back in the 90s. And okay, there you go. So we've got just this section. Now I could go through again, but they're already secure, so I'm just taking the middle section and I'm just gonna knot them together like this. Okay, so we've got our little things here. We can decide if we want to clip them short or put things on them. But before we get to there, let me get rid of this so it doesn't fall on the ground. All right. Okay, so now you can see it doesn't lay flat, right? So you don't have to worry about the front cover, but for all the pages in here, what you're gonna do, where's my ruler? Is we're taking our ruler, just butting it up against this, and then we're just starting to fold it. And it takes a while for the creases to actually develop. But this is sort of scoring it a little bit. And then when you go in and you start working with individual pages, it helps as you open them when you just hold it against a ruler like that. Okay. And just gently, be gentle, gentle, gentle with your book, especially the first page. Then you're just doing the same thing. See how I picked up a couple of pages? So I've got that page, and I've got that page, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just folding them against the original one. Press it down. These will always, these lighter pages will always kind of just open on their own, and those you can just fold. But it's these that need the assistance of folding. That one you don't have to worry about folding, it's the back page. How cute, huh? So then you've got this really adorable, unique handmade journal. And you can come up front here. And like I said, you can adorn it with things. I've got these Tim Holtz, so I'm going to pull out a couple. There's all these different wordings. I don't know. I'm just going to see which one wants to come out. I'm going to put it right here in the middle. Maybe I'll put it up at top. And then I thought I wanted to use one of these buttons. I thought this button would be really cool because I could just take one of the threads. I'm a button collector, so and my little stash of buttons are all over the place. I should keep them in a tin. But see how that goes so cute with the colors. Okay, here we go. Just gives a little decoration right there. I love that. You do? You have a big box? Yeah, I had a tin from Jack's grandma. I just put it, I'm going to try and put it back through so that these, yeah, it doesn't matter. Those can dangle on the front. Doesn't matter. Of buttons that were from like grandma's. Okay, so I'm just going to take these and we're going to see what message comes out. So this is a message for us. I'm just going to hold them in my hand. So for me, what it means is, because I work with creative, intentional creativity. So what this little message means for me is that it's the intention also of this little art journal. Okay, I'm closing my eyes. I'm sticking my finger in. I'm pulling out one. And it says, do you see that? Can you see what it says? Wait, let me find the camera. I'm so bad with this kind of stuff. Oh, God. There we go. Right here. Field notes. I know, right? This is my field notes journal. What the hell does that mean? Okay, that means I guess this wants to travel with me somewhere. It's so delicate to travel. But whatever. whatever. And apparently you will have to note 753 of those. I know. How am I going to do that? 753 what? Of what? And what field am I going to? And tell me something. Do you know? Do you know what I'm doing? Because I don't. Okay. There's my little note. There's my filled note right there. Let's get rid of some of that. We don't need some of that anymore. Filled notes. What the heck am I filled noting on? Raspberry fields? I don't know where there's any raspberry fields around here. There might be some blueberry fields. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Do you have raspberry fields where you're at? Should I keep these or should I get rid of them? No, but the Beatles have some raspberry fields forever. Oh, I like the Beatles. Been a long time since I listened to them. Should I get rid of these dangles here, or should I keep them? If I kept them, I would just clip them off about there. But if I get rid of them, I'll clip them off underneath the button. What do you think? Dangles or no dangles? Dangles, no dangles. Dangles, no dangles. You tell me. What do you think? Come on. It's either dangles or no dangles. You have to make a decision. You can do it. I know you can do it. Dangles. Okay, so I'm going to clip them off about right there. And then I guess I'll just clip these completely off. Don't you think, down at the bottom? Or should I leave dangles down here too? And just make them the same length as that? Dangles or no dangles? No dangles. Okay. Let's get rid of those. So, look at, here's your little mixed media art. Mixed media, I should put that to the back really, but it's okay. Mixed Media 101, layering pages, different techniques, creating an art journal. It will be annoying if you try to keep the book in an upright position. So you're going to make one of these, right? You're going to go to my YouTube channel and watch the first 5 YouTube classes that are there. They're very short, by the way. And then you're going to go in and rewatch this one, and you're going to create, but you're going to make one now, right? And you're going to share it with me, or you're going to share it the next time you come, right? Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to show you an art journal, an actual book journal. Be right back. All right, so these are the, yeah. Well, you can have dinner, but I'm closing up for today. So I just wanted to show you, these are actual just journal books that I've made, and these are the only 2 I have available, but everything, all the folios, the signatures inside of it, and then, of course, creating the covers, And see what I was talking about braiding? So these are different journals that, this was actually a filled journal. I took this to Ireland with me several times, and it's got, ooh, silverfish in it. See that? It's got a silverfish in it. So this technique that I used for this is almost the same technique for making just a full-on writing journal, except this one is very empty. This was for a group that used to meet all the time. We were called the Druid Clan of Donna. Yeah, for the Fellowship of Isis. But yeah, so there you have it. You're gonna try, right? There's no rush. You just work on it. And today's class went a little bit short. I'm not going to go any longer today because I'm doing my Fairy Time Cosmic Smash Booking class from 12 to 1 today. If anybody wants to come in at the last minute, you do have to contact me through email. And that is visionaryartjournal@gmail.com. And thank you so much. Gosh, Jael, I know you can. Jael, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's fun. And so next week I'm starting an entire new project. I'm going to actually be, I don't know yet what I'm going to be doing, but plan to come and paint along with me because I'm going to be, I think I'm going to be working with ink. So ink and a watercolor paper. So there you have it, your own little unique art journal, and they're so simple. You could make this over the course of a weekend as a cool gift for somebody. People love this kind of stuff because it's so unique and one of a kind. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Signing off.